In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at an interesting fact of mathematics. I'm posing the question, did you know? Did you know that the distance between the roots of an x squared quadratic, that leading coefficient being 1, is the square root of the discriminant? Okay, interesting fact that not everybody is aware of. So let's take a look at how that's going to be applied here. Let's say I've got an x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so I've got a quadratic here with that leading coefficient of 1. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and factor this. We're going to factor this into an x minus 3 and an x plus 2. Alright, that's going to make our roots at x equals 3 and x equals negative 2. Okay, so if I did a little sketch of this, alright, we know it's going to be an upright parabola. I'm going to go through negative 2 and I'm going to go through 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so roughly just rough sketch like that. So we can clearly see that the distance between those roots is 5. Now, it should be equivalent to that if I do the square root of my discriminant here. So I'm going to calculate the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Alright, well, my b is negative 1, so square root of negative 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 6. That's going to give me a 1 plus 24, and that gives me a square root of 25, which gives me a distance of 5. So the distance between those roots is the square root of the discriminant. Taking a look here at another example, we've got an x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 0. So again, I'm going to start by factoring to find out what these roots are. This is going to factor into an x plus 3 and an x plus 3. Alright, so both of those are the same. This is going to give me a root of x equals negative 3. Alright, so if I take a sketch of this, both roots are negative 3, which basically just means that vertex of that upright quadratic is going to be at negative 3. Okay, so let's take a look at what our discriminant does here. We do the square root of our b squared minus 4ac. Square root of, alright, b is 6, so 36 minus 4 times 1 times 9, square root of 36 minus 36, that's going to give me a square root of 0, which gives me a distance of 0, which makes sense there because there is no different distance since I only have one root there. There is no distance between those roots. Alright, now let's take a look at our last example. We've got an x squared plus 7x plus 15 equals 0. Alright, well, when I go to factor this one, alright, this one does not factor, which means one of two things. Either it means that those roots are not integers, or it means those roots are imaginary. Okay, so let's just move on to our discriminant. Alright, if we take the square root of our b squared minus 4ac on this one, alright, my b squared is going to be 49 minus 4 times 1 times 15. Alright, don't really want to do that math in my head there, but I think that's probably going to come up to negative 11. Alright, square root of a negative number. Alright, well, that's imaginary. Okay, so knowing that this parabola is going to be an upright parabola with some imaginary roots. There is no distance between the roots because they're imaginary roots, and I got an imaginary number there underneath that discriminant. So just an interesting little fact on how that actually works, and if you've never really thought about it like that, it's a nice way to take a look at that. But the distance between the roots of an x squared quadratic with a leading coefficient of 1 is going to be that square root of the discriminant. Definitely, thanks for watching. If you're finding the videos interesting and or useful, don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.